This is the new TC Pride Podcast, episode 101, on location for a community conversation with the Minneapolis Police Department. TC Pride Podcast on location in downtown Minneapolis for a very special conversation with the Minneapolis Police Department. And I'm here with
Andrea Jenkins. Well, I am the Vice President of the Minneapolis City Council, as well as the former oral historian for the Transgender Oral History Project at the University of Minnesota. I'm a poet, a writer, an artist. I'm Black, I'm transgender, I'm queer, I'm bisexual, I'm disabled. I got a lot of identities here, so that's who I am.
And why was it that you decided to come to this event today?
You know, I decided to come. I mentioned that I'm Black, I'm transgender, I'm queer. This is a really deep issue within many of the communities that I am a part of, as well as now I am an official representative of the city of Minneapolis. So I felt like I had a responsibility to be here and be a part of this dialogue and try to lend my voice to the conversation. And, you know, my desired outcomes is, you know, building stronger relationships between the community and the police department that has a responsibility to serve and protect us. You know, they are no more important, no less important than any other parts of our community, than the public library that we're in right now having this meeting. And every part of our community needs to function at its highest. And, you know, so I'm here to try to help build those relationships so that our police department can function at its highest good. As I said, I feel like, you know, I have a unique responsibility as a representative of the city, but also as a Black trans person who understands the hurt and pain and trauma that many people in my community face.
Well, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for coming to the event today.
You bet.
Commander Charlie Adams, and my division is the Community Collaborative Advancement Division of the Minneapolis Police Department.
Ron Edwards, and I'm a civilian, and I'm attached to one of the community groups.
And why are we here today, sir?
Well, we want to have a conversation with Twin City Pride about, police officers. You know, last year they had an issue where certain individuals didn't want police officers, to be a part of Twin City Pride. So Dot reached out to me because my collaborative and, my division, and we decided to have a conversation. She said, basically a lot of the issues with law enforcement, the Fernando Castillo shooting, Paul's nightclub, and some other issues, people wanted to have conversations based on that. So, and she said most definitely affected her African-American constituents too. So that's why we're here today, to try to talk with them and hear what they have to say, and maybe we can respond back to some of their questions.
And why are you here today, sir?
I'm here because I'm a historian in many respects, and I'm here at the invitation of the commander. And I'm very familiar with the history and the philosophy of the Twin Cities, particularly as it pertains to gay pride and et cetera. So I come here to offer that knowledge and wisdom.
And ultimately, what would you like to occur as a result of this conversation today, sir?
Just to form that relationship. Part of what we do at the Minneapolis Police Department, we engage different communities, and for sure this is a community that we need to engage and have that dialogue and continue on with that dialogue and work on issues that may arise in their community, or if they have questions about what happens, law enforcement-wise, transparency, all that stuff you hear, we're here to basically answer that for people and kind of work on the issues. Officer involved is the issues. Officer involved shootings of unarmed Black males is a big issue, and we need to work on that and try to figure out why is that occurring, not kind of regularly now, So, yeah, that's why we're here.
And what would you like to occur as a result of this conversation today, sir?
A better understanding between the groups, the communities, and et cetera, and not allow us to slip back to, and I've lived here since 1945. okay? And I remember a different city, okay, until the 1980s, maybe the 1970s. And so I don't want to see slippage back to what it used to be in this city, because this can be a very volatile city and a very racist city, irrespective of, the so-called image. So I'm here for that purpose, and whatever I can offer, if you will, in bringing together groups of individuals, but also giving them the historical perspectives, because there is one.
And this podcast actually goes out across the world. What else would you like people to know about the Minneapolis Police Department or their engagement with the community?
Well, every department's got their own policies and procedures and unique. There's probably over 8,000 police departments, which is way too many police departments for this country to have. And I think when people see things that happens down in Sacramento, see things that happen here in Minneapolis, wherever, judge that agency by its individual, and then also judge the action of those officers or that officer by their act. Don't take law enforcement and judge them, put everybody who's in law enforcement in one bowl and say, you guys are all bad. Because I think if you do that, we're hypocrites, because when somebody of African-American descent kills somebody, you're not blaming everybody about that, all blacks. Well, you have somebody go and do a school shooting who happens to be a white male, but all white males are not getting beat up that. So we got to go back and be honest about what we see, deal with that situation as that situation, and I guess that's what I need to learn. But also law enforcement, we have to be respectful of community also, and that's what we do in Minneapolis. You'll probably hear later on with some of the speakers. We practice procedural justice. And that's basically giving people an opportunity, a voice, being neutral in some situations, but making folks that we encounter feel that after that encounter, hey, I had the opportunity to say what I wanted to say, and everything came out. And I may not be happy with the outcome, but at least I know I'm safe and I'm at home. And if I have to make a complaint, I can do it another day. So we teach our officers about being respectful to people, and that's been going on for the last 3 years with our procedural justice. So.
And sir, being a longtime resident of the city, what else would you like people to know about maybe the relations between some of the marginalized communities and the police department over the years?
Well, I think it's important that in the last 6 or 7 years, under Chief Harto first and now Chief Arredondo, there has been a tremendous effort to take corrective actions. I've had the pleasure of serving as a Department of Justice monitor, if you will, and served on the committees starting in 2013, actually starting in 2008 when we were almost put under federal receivership. This department has been working hard, and I think it's unfortunate that the historical commitment that they have made has been extremely effective. Of course, that can be debated and et cetera, but it has been effective, if you will, and I think it's important for the world, as you pointed out and asked the question, to know that there is a sense of responsibility to do the right thing. And so if we can help do that, then that's what we want to do.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Erica Motter.
And Erica, why are you here today?
I'm here today because I was deeply disappointed with how the Pride organization and the Minneapolis Police Department handled last year the question of uniformed police presence in the parade. And I'm frankly still skeptical because this event was framed as a law enforcement conversation with the LGBTQ community, and it featured the names of officers who are going to be here and a picture of a uniformed police officer, and while also talking about quote-unquote safe space. So I'm not convinced that Pride has actually learned anything from what happened last year, but I'm here to engage not necessarily directly with the police department, but with the Pride organization on that topic, because I'm still hopeful that Pride is can be a positive and welcoming and safe space for the breadth of the LGBTQ community.
And I would like to personally thank you for being here today, given your opinions on the entire situation. What would you like to happen ultimately as a result of this conversation today?
I would like the Pride organization to demonstrate that they have learned what queer people of color are trying to say about how uniformed police presence makes people feel unsafe. And I would like the Pride organization to discontinue uniformed police officers participating in the parade above and beyond their capacity as required by law for public safety.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Glenn Burt. I'm here representing the department and also the Procedural Justice Unit. And I'm here, for the community. This is an opportunity for the MPD and the community to learn from each other, grow in our relationship, and also understand the needs and wants so that we can better serve the communities that, that's our charge.
And ultimately, what would you like to come as a result of this conversation here today?
A better understanding between our department and the community of the needs that the community have, they need from us, and also to find out if there's any other messages that we need to carry forward as sort of the public face of government to the other parts of the city and the other parts of the city firmament, the enterprise, that communities haven't been able to get that message across.
And what else would you like people to know about the conversation today that maybe they didn't see online?
That this is productive. Even sometimes in a relationship, you have kind of pushes and pulls and disagreements, but the key is that we continue to keep talking, continue to keep building, continue to keep bonding. And what I hope that those who aren't here or who don't have access to it or didn't see from the online information was that no matter what, this is productive. We're all in the same room. We're all at the same table. We're all bonding. We're all building this relationship. That's the most important thing, is continue to talk, continue to discuss, and grow.
Yes, my name is Denise Barreto, and I'm the facilitator, and I come from a company called Relationships Matter Now, LLC.
Yeah, tell me about the organization you're with then.
Sure. I'm a partner with TC Pride. I recently took their board through a cultural competency workshop during their strategic planning exercises. And how they found me is because for the last, 3 years now, my business has expanded. We're based in Chicago, but we do a lot of work on expanding inclusive leadership efforts here in Minneapolis, St. Paul. I work with the City of St. Louis Park, the Three Rivers Park District, the Minnesota Department of Corrections. So while I am from Chicago, I am very, very tuned into the Twin Cities and have a lot of interaction with organizations here. Over the last few years since I've been in business, the need for more inclusive leadership has come to a head in our country. We've come to a spot where we can no longer talk about being inclusive. We actually have to be inclusive. And that really does fall on local agencies and local government. And, I used to be on a city council in McHenry County, Illinois, which means nothing to you guys, but is a very big deal. When I got elected, I brought the city council age down by 30 years. Being a young black woman married to a Mexican guy, we brought the diversity to that town. And so it really, again, it was a labor of love, and just because of who I am, I just get drafted into these conversations, and I'm very grateful that my talents can be used in a way to bring people together.
And then why exactly are we here today?
Well, today, what we want to do is have a conversation. TC Pride wants to have a conversation with law enforcement as well as the greater LGBTQ community, just to talk about what's happened in the last few years, because at Pride, the last two Pride events, there have been an increase and a decrease of police presence, and I think there is a need to talk about what exactly happened, what drove that, and then solicit what kind of relationship we want to have with law enforcement moving forward. So this is the beginning. I think what I want to make sure is people think, this is one-time conversation. That is not true. This is a conversation today. We plan on having another one in the summer. And what I hope to happen is that we will ignite folks to have conversations informally and formally from now on. Let's not, just get on Facebook and yell at each other. Let's not, come to events and be mad. Let's constantly be in contact with each other and foster dialogue. And that's, one of the things I pride myself in, and what my company is known for, is we do messy, right? No one calls us when things are perfectly great and fine. People call us when there's distress. And I think it just has to do with, I don't know why, but I have this talent of being able to bring people together, even when they're mad at each other, and figure out how to talk and move forward.
Al Ortwig. I came because we were involved with Stonewall, and we were concerned about what happened last year in terms of feeling like the LGBTQ community wasn't heard very well in the process last year. Well, I think we're at the point of, did we want to participate in Pride at all this year, or did we simply want to stay away? And I think we do still need to have more conversations, particularly with the Pride Committee, to make sure that we are feeling comfortable, we are on the same page. If negotiations are taking place, that we can trust that the leaders of the LGBT community in Pride are aware of what the concerns out in the community are.
Dave Hutchinson.
And Dave, what is your connection to the event today?
I'm a part of the community, and I'm a police sergeant with the transit police. Well, I think being part of the LGBT community and a police officer, I think it's my duty to come and help both sides come together and fight for justice for everybody and have an equal opportunity, police department and Pride.
And what did you hope would ultimately come of a conversation like this and conversations like these to come?
I think just open dialogue and have people's grievances heard and eventually come together again and again until we can find a goal that we can come together with and actually fix the issues we have in the communities and hopefully have a better relationship.
Dylan, I am an openly homosexual male. I'm engaged to another man happily, and we're both actively seeking law enforcement careers. I feel there's a lot of voices saying there shouldn't be a lot of law enforcement present in the parade. I felt that it was needed that I came out today and say that they need to be part of the parade for the various reasons. Most importantly, I think when they get out into the parade, they show that the presence, that they're encouraged by their department, and then if they needed assistance, people can see that that the agencies have resources for them available.
And what are you hoping ultimately to come of conversations like these?
I want everyone to become comfortable with law enforcement. I understand that tensions are really tight right now, but when we get out there, put on the uniform, or even when we're not in uniform, we're truly out there to help our communities and protect them, and that we'll go out of our way to do what we can to help them.
Darcy Bauman. I am the board chair for Twin Cities Pride.
And tell me a little bit about why we're here today.
Well, last year we had an issue with between the police department and the people of color and the LGBTQ community. And at that time, we promised that this year we would have conversations with them to try and work some things out.
And what was your organization hoping would ultimately come of a conversation like this?
We were hoping to have more of a panel. We were hoping to have more of a discussion between the trans people of color and the marginalized people and the police department. Unfortunately, we did not have that particular conversation, but we did have a really good conversation where people were opened up. They said what they had to say. They expressed concerns. They gave us ideas for things to work on from here on out.
And we always like to let people know who feel that maybe they aren't as well represented as they should be, how it is that they can engage with Twin Cities Pride.
They can always reach us on Facebook and let us know if they have any questions, if they have any ideas for talks. And sometimes there are things that Twin Cities Pride does that they may not realize that we do. So if you have a question of, I feel this way, let us know, and there might already be something in place. If there isn't something in place, we may be able to put something in place in order to help you enjoy your experience more.
Darcy, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much.
The TC Pride Podcast is a production of Podletter Media and Twin Cities Pride. Subscribe now on iTunes, on Android, or by email at tcpridepodcast.org. Get above the noise by raising your voice. Podletter Media turns your email newsletter, blog, or video content into a more powerful, more personal, more intimate, on-demand listening experience. Your podcast, your story, your voice. Simplified, amplified. Learn more now at podletter.com.